I think there are 5 million SMEs in Britain, and at any one time about 1 million of them are looking for money. The obvious place to go is the mainstream banks from which they've been borrowing historically. However, 43% of the companies that go to the banks actually get turned down. 70% of the borrowers are only looking at the banks. So if they've looked at the banks and they've been turned down, they are clearly totally frustrated. This is absolutely unnecessary because we've got a solution. The solution is marketplace lending, which is an industry which has made a direct connection between the companies that need money and a whole load of people who have been getting a totally inadequate return on their savings. Why not put these two elements together through a marketplace? So Funding Night, for example, provides a web platform that allows exactly that to happen. Borrowers come to the website to indicate that they are looking for money. They get vetted by the Funding Night team, and those that get accepted are shown to our investment community, who combine to make loans and compete for the loans through an auction process that forces through the best possible pricing for borrowers. In Funding Night's responsive lending process, you simply apply on the website. You say, we are looking for this amount of money for this period, for this purpose. Leave a telephone number and we ring you back pretty well immediately. We then pre-qualify you in that phone call to make sure that you are a limited company or limited partnership, and that you have been trading for at least 2 years, and that you are capable of providing the financial information we require. Having had the initial conversation, which of course weeds a number of people out because they're not suitable, we then ask for financial and other information through the application process. We have to do the normal money laundering checks on the directors of the company and the major shareholders, and we will also extend that into credit checks and investigation of the history of the people who are active in the companies, because it's very important to us that we are lending really to the people behind the company and not just a corporate entity. We will then ask for some financial information, which starts with your last filed accounts at Companies House. We asked for management accounts prepared up to within 3 months of the application. We ask who else you're borrowing money from at the time, and we ask for a cash flow for the next 12 months, which indicates how the borrower thinks they are going to repay the loan. Once the financial information is submitted, it is analysed by our experienced credit analysts, and they will do that over a period of about 3 days. They will then arrange an interview with the major person behind the business, and this interview will cover some quite general topics which indicate the way the business owner approaches to the business. How responsible are they in terms of their relationships with people they owe money to? What's their history been like? What's their motivation? Is this a lifestyle business, or is this something they're really trying to develop? And we will establish that in the course of the interview. Following the evaluation and the interview, which is a total of probably 3 or 4 days, we will then be able to make an indicated offer of funding, which will show an indicated maximum rate at which we think we can raise the money from our investor public. And If the borrower is happy with that maximum rate, we will then raise the documentation, including a personal guarantee, which they then sign and complete, together with the information that will be disclosed to our investor base on the borrower. We then press the button for a 7-day auction, which allows all our lenders to participate in this new loan, and we will send a notification out to the lenders so they're aware of it. So we will have several hundred lenders participating in an auction, and the people who offer the lowest rates of interest will be the ones who are successful. The idea of the auction process is to drive through a market process to get the very best rate for the borrower. So we would expect that always to come in at below the reserve rate, and every single auction we've launched historically has. And at the end of the process, day 7, the auction closes, and we immediately start the loan because we've got the documentation. So the borrower's got their money within hours, and the lenders are starting to earn interest on the loan. The process from start to finish is probably about 3 weeks. It's obviously driven very heavily by the borrower's ability to, and availability. So they've got to provide the information, and they've got to be available for the interview. If they're there and committed to accelerating the process, it can be very short indeed. It can be less than 21 days. I think the fastest we've done is probably about 2 weeks. Marketplace lending is a really rapidly growing industry. I think there are now 54 platforms in existence. A number of them are highly specialized. We set ourselves out to be a generalist, making unsecured loans to businesses across the spectrum of industries. No industry, for example, is more than 15% of the overall lending. We are very, very widely available to businesses which are companies which have been in business for 2 years. We are intending to widen our product range to be as accessible as possible to these smaller companies that are looking for money and looking to get a responsive lending approach very quickly.